Question 10, Don says, in a previous session you mentioned the gateway of magic for the adept occurring in 18-day cycles. Could you expand on that information, please? Ra says, the mind-body-spirit complex is born under a series of influences, both lunar, planetary, cosmic, and in some cases, karmic. The moment of the birthing into this illusion begins the cycles we have mentioned. The spiritual or adept's cycle is an 18-day cycle and operates with the qualities of the sine wave. Thus, there are a few excellent days on the positive side of the curve, that being the first 9 days of the cycle, precisely the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, when workings are most appropriately undertaken, given that the entity is still without total conscious control of its mind-body-spirit distortion reality. So let's give a little bit of an introduction to what this means. And they're all in different rhythms, all 4 cycles. So I forget which one. I think the emotional is 28. The physical might be 33. And then there is the intellectual or the intelligence, 23 days. And then there is the adept, which is 18 days. In terms of what they explained so far, well, first of all, we have to understand that this is something that starts at the beginning of the incarnation. So when you're born, that's when it starts. And before I keep going, you can go check on a link that I have here, biorhythms in bringforth.org, which is the website they have for forums in LNL research. And somebody actually made this tool, which is really nice, if you want to see how your cycles are at this moment. So I actually checked mine, and they're all, I think, at the bottom right now, except for my physical, I think. I can't remember correctly. So in any case, you can just go play with this. I will give my opinion on all of this after I'm done with this question. But okay, so it starts at the beginning of the incarnation. So when you're born, right? And it also has a series of influences: lunar, planetary, cosmic, and in some cases karmic. I don't know how each of these affect the different cycles. I don't know if, say, the lunar cycle affects all of them, or just, say, the emotional, which we're really used to hearing, that it's a full moon, so everybody's getting emotional and so on. Planetary, I don't know if it's physical or intellectual, cosmic, I don't know if it's the adept, karmic. I don't know. I'm throwing guesses here. But whatever the case may be, these are the influences. And people much more knowledgeable on this can probably expand on this, but I am not. So the next part is the 18-day cycle. So let me explain this part, because just reading it can be a little bit confusing. So it's 18 days, and that means this works in a sine wave, just like I have in the back. And this sine wave is the one that goes up and down on a line, and it goes a certain rhythm up and a certain rhythm down. Same thing, right? So what we have is that it's 18 days, and so we have a 9-day peak, or a 9-day cycle at the top, and a bottom 9-day cycle. So we have 9 days going up and down from 0 to 0. And then on the positive side, that would reach, 4.5. So 4.5 is the peak, and then 4.5 down would reach 0 again. I'm talking about 4.5 days. And then on the bottom one would go to negative 4.5 or 4.5 down, and then negative 4.5 into 0 again, and then continue on. So you can see that you have a pair of 4.5 on the positive. So 4.5 going up, 4.5 going down to 0, and then 4.5 going negative 4.5 going to the bottom, and then negative 4.5 going back into the zero. So that would be an 18-day cycle that takes you from 0 to 0 again, but then bringing you down, and then 0 again to begin the cycle. I hope that makes sense. I don't think I can do much with my words other than this. And for those who are on YouTube and can watch this on the graph that I have in the back on my whiteboard, then you can see it easier. But you can go play with this tool, like I said, that I have in the description, and check it out. So it works that way. Okay, that's what they're saying. They say that there are a few excellent days on the positive side of the curve. That would be the one going up. That would be exactly 4th, 5th, and 6th, because you see between 4 and 6 there is the 5th day, right? Or in the 5th day is where you're coming down already, and then the 6th day is sort of like the 4th day, right? So yeah, those three are right around the peak, and those are excellent days for workings because they are appropriate for the mind-body-spirit complex, as they don't have, or we don't have, total conscious control of it. And I suppose that is desired for not having, I don't know, somehow this may relate to us being more susceptible to the cosmic forces that influence our adepthood. So that's the structure of this cycle. The other ones have their own 33, 28, and 23 days. They all have different ways, and you have to divide it by 4. So you get the peaks and the bottoms. And so let's continue reading what Ross says. The most interesting portion of this information, like that of each cycle, is the noting of the critical point wherein, passing from the 9th to the 10th and from the 18th to the first days, the adept will experience some difficulty, especially when there is a transition occurring in another cycle at the same time. At the nadir of each cycle, that the adept will be at its least powerful, but will not be open to difficulties in nearly the degree that it experiences at critical times. So it seems that the critical time is actually passing 0, right? Because it would be the 9th to the 10th, that would be crossing 0. And then the 18th, right? The 18th to the first days, that would be crossing 0 again, as we go back to another half of the cycle. Because again, it's an 18-day, and yeah, at the end of the cycle, you may say, and halfway through the cycle is where there is what do they call it? Difficulties. At the nadir of each cycle, the nadir is the bottom at this point, like the zenith is the top. So the nadir is the bottom part of the cycle. That day 9. Am I right? No, that would be 13. Day 13. Yes, 9 is 0. So day 13, 14 is where you're getting to the nadir of your cycle. And so, yeah, they say that's basically it. This is all the structure of it. Now, what type of difficulty is the question? The adept will experience some difficulty in those 0 points. I'm not sure, because I believe this is probably sensed more when you do white magic or channeling maybe, or something to that effect, which I am not at all knowledgeable on. I am not experienced either in any of this, but I suppose this is where you have critical points. Maybe it does represent a little bit the way we can deal with catalysts, but I am putting words where they're not, so please don't buy into my words. So I don't know. I really don't know how this affects the self as we go through, but I do have more knowledge on all of this biorhythm, astrology, and so on after we get over with the next question.